Several months after Starfire and Blackfire's last encounter, Tamaran is reintroduced to war again. Invaders from beyond the stars engulf the planet in ferocious battle. Queen Komand'r revels in the chance to fight alongside her people, including Prince Gorath and his sister Zionis. But her might alone is far from enough to push back the rebels. She tells Gorath there's only one person who can help them now, his wife and her sister, Koriand'r. As Koriand'r and Gorath locate the Titans on Earth, Kori embraces her little brother and greets her husband warmly. Though married in name only, she still cares for him, but this isn't a leisure visit. Her presence has been requested by the Queen, and Kori wants no part of it. Though Gorath swears Komand'r has been a good queen, she won't accept it. Kori hasn't forgotten their fight for the fate of Tamaran months ago. Her decisive victory was cut short by her parents, who voiced their support for Blackfire's reign. Starfire conceded the fight, but vowed she'd never trust Komand'r as queen. The Titans are also slow to trust Gorath. Nightwing may respect him, but Cyborg has no desire in making friends. Still, they take off for Tamaran once again. Once they arrive, Kori reunites with her parents briefly before unleashing a tirade on her sister. But Blackfire didn't call her here to argue. She knows Starfire is Tamaran's best warrior, and their best chance at quelling this coup. Nightwing calms Kori down long enough for her to notice the advancing enemy forces. For the sake of Tamaran, she joins the battle with miraculous results. During the fight, Starfire's friends all remark how much her sister has changed. She's less ruthless in battle and tends to her people's well-being, a fact put on display when the King and Queen Regent are blasted out of the sky. Both sisters drop everything and fly frantically to save their parents. And after they've been tended to, Komand'r thanks Kori for her prompt response. The princess can barely believe her eyes and ears. This isn't the bloodthirsty sister she once knew, who tried to assassinate her entire family. But surprised as she is, she's not ready to forget or forgive. The fighting makes its way to the invaders' stronghold where again, Titans and Tamaranians fight side by side. And for the first time in their long, complicated relationship, Starfire and Blackfire fight together, back to back against the enemy forces. Though they bicker amongst each other, they still have each other's backs, which is quite the feat for Blackfire, who normally would drive a knife into Starfire's back given the chance. Before long, Team Tamaran is victorious. Blackfire lifts an ignited hand in the air as she declares victory, rallying her people to join her in cheers. Their victory, though well won, feels hollow. Something isn't adding up. Gorath suspects his sister Zionis of working undercover against the crown. Something about the way she attacks these alien invaders. When Kori and Gorath go to investigate, Zionis wastes no time in revealing the truth. She has defected. The rebels' leader, Zorgon, is her lover and former master. Zionis was made a slave by the Citadel just like Starfire. Now she seeks revenge on Tamaran for leaving her to die as a slave. And to that end, her group has planted several bombs on the planet to ensure its destruction. Komand'r sends her troops to begin bomb retrieval, but Starfire is still taken aback. How has Blackfire become this concerned for her people's lives? She stubbornly refuses to accept the fact that her sister has changed. But Dick reminds her that she can't let her personal grudge cloud her judgment. Her people need her just as they need Komand'r. Zionis approaches. Starfire goes to confront her, trying to spare her husband the pain of facing his sister in a deadly duel. But Gorath is already prepared for this moment, so he and his lover Taria join the fight. Gorath challenges his sister to combat under the rules of the Okaran warlords, a challenge his sister cannot refuse. The skills he honed with his wife some time ago are put to the ultimate test. Zionis thinks Gorath is soft, but he shows her his warrior spirit and defeats her using non-lethal fighting tactics. She is forced to accept defeat and prepares to reveal the bomb's locations. But before she can give them up, Zorgan himself appears and blasts them all from aboard his personal ship. Though wounded, Starfire rises from the attack, but Cyanus does not. Gorath goes to war for his fallen sister and his injured wife, fighting with the fury of Zal herself. The mercy he showed to his sister has died with her, leaving only pure rage for Zorgan. Gorath has been mortally wounded. Starfire calls for Raven to heal him, but he already knows it's too late. He gives his love to both his wife and his soulmate before passing into Zal's eternal embrace. The women who loved Gorath most are inconsolable as they collapse into each other's arms. Raven accesses Zorgan's final thoughts and uses them to find the bombs. Tamaran is saved at the cost of Koriand'r's husband and one of Komand'r's finest fighters. Perhaps this collective loss is what brought both of them to tears together and allowed them to have a heart-to-heart before the Titans departed. In the past, all Kori wanted was to be close with her sister. She gave up on that dream long ago, but in this moment, progress is made. She has seen her sister act selflessly for her people and her family, and now she can no longer deny the truth. Kori finally affirms out loud Komand'r's right to rule. To see Blackfire embraced by her people who once rejected her outright, knowing how far she's come, is enough to bring tears to her eyes. Komand'r says Kori will always be welcome on Tamaran, officially ending Koriand'r's exile that she put in place years ago. Though Komand'r doesn't think they'll ever truly be close, there is now peace and understanding instead of confusion and hatred between them. And as the Earthlings take off, Koriand'r remains elated. Tamaran feels like home again, and she finally has a true sister. But not long after, the triumphant tears would turn to overwhelming weeps of sorrow, and in the midst of the ultimate tragedy, the sisters would grow even closer. Fast forward several more months, during the Citadel Wars, Starfire has gone through several changes, most noteworthy of which her breakup with Dick Grayson. After their initial falling out on Tamaran during Starfire's wedding, the pair made several attempts to get their relationship back on track. While things were on the upturn for a while, outside forces drove another wedge between them. A brutal, intimate assault, cries of infidelity, and a hasty wedding that was interrupted by Dark Raven, who imparted her own seed within Starfire. After such a traumatic experience, she had to go on a journey of self-rediscovery, during which time she came to see the fundamental flaws in her and Dick's relationship. Kori no longer felt like her place was with Nightwing or the Titans, so she and Dick finally called it quits as she departed into space looking for answers. This led her back to her sister, who was in need of help again, another rebellion to put down. But this one spanned across the entire Vega system. The sisters' mutual respect grows deeper as they learn to truly lean on one another. And this wasn't the only change Kori was going through. General Fajan of the Tamaranian Galactic Fleet had fallen in love with Koriand'r during her return to Tamaran. He had been captured by the Scions and subjected to sadistic experiments just like Koriand'r. And when she freed him, the two bonded over their shared trauma, leading to a whirlwind romance culminating in marriage. Kori was now free to remarry for love. And indeed, she loved her husband, the general, but they had no time to celebrate their new union, as the fires of war raged on. Currently, the sisters are being pursued by enemy forces. Kori is injured, with Blackfire manning the ship alone. General Phi and his forces attempt to intercept them, but a stray blast sends their ship into dangerous regions of space that the general cannot follow them into. They're forced to turn around and hope for the best. The pair are then brought into a spaceship by a being called Cyberion. Immediately, this cybernetic entity remembers Koriand'r and seeks to heal her. Before he can, he is attacked by a horde of Gordanians. The sisters awake, and with Cyberion's help, they blast their way to freedom in the vastness of space. Amidst the struggle, Starfire senses something familiar in her new ally. Soon she deduces his true identity. This is Victor Stone, aka Cyborg. His soul had fused to the cybernetic life form known as Technus to survive the destruction of his original body. Once the trio have created distance between themselves and their enemies, they make their way for Earth. Cyberion asks to be taken there. Komand'r cares nothing for the planet Earth, but Starfire still does. Blackfire has come to trust her little sister without question, owing her her life and sanity, so she obliges and takes the pair home. They arrive just in time to help Beast Boy, who had one of Raven's seeds implanted in him. Like with Starfire, he was driven mad and attacked the Titans. It nearly killed him. He was beyond all Earth help, but old friends from beyond the stars had arrived to lend aid. Titans old and new gather around the bunch, eager to reconnect. Starfire and Blackfire alert them of a discovery they've made. The Gordanians are after something on Earth, for unknown reasons. They are after Gar. As the Titans all retreat to the spaceship, they notice something profoundly different in the sisters. Komand'r is cooperative and even patient, two traits she never had before. She learned the art of compromise from her little sister, the same sister who wants to reach the humanity still within Gar, as he thrashes about in anger from the influence of Trigon's seed. And she devises the perfect plan. What better way to combat Raven's dark side with the light side? At this point, Raven was physically dead, but her soul self remained, and part of it resided in Starfire. The dark part of her soul within her had been purged and turned pure, allowing her power to flow through Starfire at will. She fails to heal Beast Boy at first, but Blackfire assures her that what she's done so far is no small task. During all the commotion, there is one notable person missing, Nightwing, who's gone solo to protect the city of Bloodhaven. Donna suggests reaching out to him, but Starfire declines, as if not wanting to burden him. Perhaps she's merely not ready for this reunion. Whatever the reason, the Titans take off for the vegan system, without their former leader and Starfire's former lover. Out in space, near Tamaran, the battle increases. General Phi and his forces are overwhelmed by their Citadel enemies, bringing Tamaran into mortal danger. The general alerts Luander and Meander. He advises them to evacuate, but they refuse. Meander's reign was wrought with weakness, so he won't retreat now. He'll fight for his planet to the very end, and his devoted wife will do the same. They thank Phi for his service, give their love, and end communication. Komand'r and Kori are hailed by the general. Tamaran is being evacuated as they speak. They order Cyberion to move faster, but the shuttle's already moving 8 times the speed of light. It's top speed. The King and Queen Regent deliver the news to their daughters. They will stay behind and buy time for their people to escape. And only a few moments later, as the general's ship leads the evacuees to safety, the sisters are speechless. They silently comfort each other as they both go through the unimaginable. Phi reminds his wife that Tamaran will live on in her strong-willed people. Deep down, Kori knows this, but at the moment it brings her no comfort. But there is little time to mourn. Donna comes to Kori about an important matter, and she already knows what it's about. The bit of Raven's soul self that remains within her, pure and uncorrupted, but Starfire is too hurt to make sense of it beyond what she already knows. She fled Earth after completing the Tamaran warrior ritual known as the Kynasfer. She felt fate pulling her back to her planet, her family, only to witness its destruction. Now she was a former Titan and the princess of a dead planet. But Kori wasn't alone. She had her friends, her husband, and surprisingly, her sister. No more questioning her motives like before. Now there is only trust between the two. This bond was apparent to all, on and off the battlefield, and Starfire would defend her sister to the death, not merely out of duty, but out of love. The true mastermind behind all of this was finally revealed. It was Raven herself, the corrupted part of her soul which had survived physical death. This part of Raven was pure evil. With Beast Boy compromised, she now goes for Starfire to finish what she started before. Starfire is sucked into an otherworldly portal. Blackfire tries to help Kori, but Kori tells her to stay away as she's sucked right out of the sky. The people need their queen now more than ever. The older sister, who once relished in Kori's suffering, would give anything to help her. In Raven's captivity, Starfire learns the depths of her plans. Dark Raven will consume the seeds inside Starfire and Beast Boy to become whole. But Starfire won't become a weapon for his evil. She knows the truth. The remnants of Raven's soul that resides in her is pure, the last remnants of Raven's true self. The soul self that spoke to Kori during the Kynasfer and beckoned her to return to Tamaran. It was all for this moment, to bring an end to her father's evil schemes. Raven first assembled the new Teen Titans when Koriand'r first crash-landed on Earth, and now she assembles them again for this final fight. But Starfire would not succumb to Dark Raven's manipulation. And as Blackfire joins the others to save her sister, she affectionately refers to her as Kori. No longer does she merely refer to her as Koriand'r coldly, or sister sarcastically. Perhaps this is the biggest sign of the sisters' changed relationship. The new Titans follow Starfire's lead as they attack Trigon's demonic energy wave in an attempt to forcefully enter this world at his own daughter's expense. With a mighty explosion, the Demon King fails and is silenced once again. The Tamaranians settle on a planet they dub New Tamaran. Starfire embraces her husband with Raven standing beside her, fully restored in her soul self form. Amidst the celebration, Raven senses life growing within Starfire, but Kori stops Raven before she reveals the gender of the coming babe. This way it'll be a surprise to everyone, including herself. And as the fighting ends, Kori looks fondly on her old team. While she has lost much during this war, she's gained much too. A new great love, a renewed place with her people, and a brand new bond with her sister. And just like her place in the Titans, they will always be part of her. Though they were first introduced to each other in strife and conflict, these two sisters who once had nothing but hate for each other now walk side by side as allies and as friends. And though it took unimaginable tragedy and loss, the whims of fate have finally made them true sisters, honoring what was lost and treasuring what has been found.